Hey crew, what's up? It's Coach Patrick Precourt here with today's video. So this is a good one, as we pursue the outcomes that we desire each day, the goals we've written out for ourselves, even down to daily tasks. There's something that comes up, and if I were to survey everyone and said, hey, what's the number one thing that gets in our way of getting stuff done every day? Likely it would be distractions, followed closely by shiny objects, right? And then last but not least, probably procrastination and excuses. Truth is, they're all the same damn thing. They really, really are. And I just want to share with you a couple thoughts on it so we're a little better prepared on how to deal with them before they happen. Because quite honestly, at the rate at which they happen on a regular basis, it can account for a lot of, call them daily failures, not the good failures, not the failures that move us forward, as most failures do, right? These are the kind of failures that just stack on top of themselves, getting away of moving things forward. And I'll also throw in there a entrepreneurial excuse. Oh, I got ADD or ADHD, or I don't even know what the difference is, right? And there are some people that have a mental disorder, like a legitimate one, but that's not the majority of us. Majority of us use that as an excuse, kind of somewhat sarcastically blame it on that, right? When we say, yeah, I got ADHD. No, you don't. Right? Now, granted, there are some that truly do. So I'm not discrediting that, but I'm talking to the masses here, right? About this particular subject. So let's start with shiny object syndrome, right? As many of you call it. What is shiny object syndrome? Shiny object syndrome is like a bright light that flashes and gets your attention. Now it's a little different than a distraction at this point, because when we look over to it, we like it. It's attractive. It's exciting. Why is it exciting? Because it's something new. It immediately fills us up. We expand. Puts our creative brain in forward, right? Cranking, right? Our juices are going. And in our mind, we're actually creating something. We're in a new space. And as entrepreneurs, we feel really good when we create, when we expand, when we grow. But truth is, only a small portion of what we do every day is in that space. Because that great idea, that new shiny object, the idea in and of itself isn't where the gold is. The gold is in the execution of the idea. And that's getting down on our hands in these inner trenches and doing the work. And for many of us, that's where we tend to drop the ball. We don't like doing that part. Doesn't feel good. Well, eye opener, not everything we do every day is going to feel good, nor should it, nor does it have to. And that guru thing of, do what you love and love what you do is quite honestly bullshit. As a greater context, you should love the vision, buy into your vision, but embrace the mission. The vision's where you're going, right? The mission is how you're going to get there. The mission ain't going to be easy. Your vision's big. It's worth something. It also means it's worth fighting for. You're going to have to dig in and do the work. So shiny object syndrome is a function of us not necessarily enjoying the day-to-day stuff that we do, and then inadvertently getting caught up in expanding a new idea, a new thing. We call it shiny object, right? Different than a distraction. Because with the shiny object, at least we are in a positive creation mode. I'm not validating it, right? It's still massively in our way of production. When you look at a visionary integrator relationship, one of the most fundamental, foundational pieces to the relationship between the visionary and the integrator in the organization is that once you agree on your quarterly objectives, the visionary cannot start something new without the okay of the integrator. And the integrator, of course, is more on the management side. It's more on the results-driven side. It's about getting stuff done. And like, no, nothing new till we get this shit done. Right? That's the beauty of that relationship. But when we're both the visionary and the integrator, right, we lose that battle. That's the shiny object. But let's talk about distractions here, right? Distractions are different. We said, I get distracted. Wrong. Change your language. Because you're wrong. You're actually lying to yourself. You don't get distracted. You choose distractions. You choose distractions when you're avoiding doing something that you don't want to do. When you're avoiding doing something that's going to perceive pain or perceive fear. This also falls in a category of procrastination, right? Whether you use the word procrastination or use the word distraction, they're synonymous in why we use them. We choose distractions to avoid doing what we should be doing. Now, we could actually choose a shiny object as a distraction, and that would blend the two together, even though they are different from one another, right? But generally speaking, right, the idea of distraction is for one reason only, to avoid doing what we know we should be doing. Cool? Then there's one deeper level, and that's so procrastination and distraction fall in the same bucket. Shiny objects over here, those two are here. Then there's this one over here, and this is the victim excuse bucket, right? Where we blame externals on why we didn't do what we're supposed to do, or why we avoided doing it, or what happened, or just but we don't take ownership. We don't take responsibility for it. Something external to us is the reason why we didn't perform. That, to me, is the definition of incompetence, by the way, right? When we don't get done what we said we're going to do. But we're victimizing ourselves by not taking responsibility, by giving away our ability to respond, ability to respond. When we don't take responsibility, we play the victim role, blame it on something external. We're giving up authority and power. If we're going to give up our authority, we don't deserve to have the authority in the first place. Think about that. Find someone else who's willing to wear those big boy shoes. Make sense? Cool. So, to summarize this discussion, right? When we're not getting done continuously, things are supposed to be getting done, that we put on our to-do list, I want you to break it into 3 buckets, figure out which one it is, and go head at it. Take it on. Is it a shiny object syndrome, right? Where you're looking to feel better in the moment? Good. Identify it so that you can get okay with feeling bad over a certain period of time, knowing that it's moving you towards the vision. The mission's going to be tough. You're going to get bloodied along the way, but the vision's worth it. And if you know that along the way, guess what? There's a feel good that wraps around the feel bad in the moment, and that's okay, right? If you're distracting yourself, stop. Change your language. Why did I just choose that distraction? Because it's a trigger. It's an indicator that you're avoiding doing something you know you're supposed to be doing right now. And then finally, the victim, man. You know you're the victim when you're blaming something. You're blaming your lack of performance on something external to you. And it ain't your fault. It's someone else's fault. Right? And you've got to take back that responsibility. Take back that ability to respond so that you can do something about it. If you choose not to, give up your freaking shoes. Put somebody else in that spot who deserves to be there. And I know you're not going to do that, but when you say that out loud, it hurts. And that's the idea. Let it sting a little. Remember, man, great change comes upon 2 instances, inspiration and desperation. You guys are awesome, man. Peace.